Lena had been growing her hair for 3 years for her wedding. Her best friend, Lyra, knew how important it was. She sat beside Lena in the salon, smiling sweetly. When Lena closed her eyes for the wash, Lyra quietly handed the stylist money. When Lena looked up again, 2 feet of hair were gone. She cried, and Lyra pretended to be shocked. Something felt wrong. The next morning, Lena called the salon manager, asking if anything unusual had happened. The manager checked the cameras and found the truth. Lyra had paid the stylist. She emailed the footage. Lena watched it over and over, feeling her chest tighten. She didn't confront Lyra yet. Instead, she called her fiancé, Cade. "I need to handle this," she told him. At Lena's bachelorette party, Lyra gave a long speech about their friendship. Lena listened silently. When Lyra finished, Lena stood up. "Before we toast," she said, connecting her phone to the TV, "there's something you all need to see." The security video played. The room went still. $300, Lena said calmly. "That's what she paid to ruin my hair." Lyra panicked, trying to lie her way out of it. "It was a misunderstanding," she said. But the stylist had already confessed. Lena's sister stepped forward and said, "That's not a friend. That's sabotage." Lena ended the friendship on the spot and removed Lyra from the wedding. Lyra ran out of the room while the others stared in disbelief. During the wedding reception, Cade's best man pulled Lena aside. He nervously admitted Lyra had called him weeks earlier, begging him to convince Cade to cancel the wedding. "She said you were controlling," he whispered. Lena felt the world tilt. Cade's face darkened. "Tell us everything," he said. The best man explained how Lyra had cried, lied, and even claimed Lena was cheating with a coworker. Lena almost laughed. "That coworker is married to his husband," she said. It became clear Lyra had been trying to destroy the relationship for weeks. Cade gathered his parents and Lena's family in a private alcove. They watched the salon video and listened to the best man's story. Lena's sister said, "We're documenting everything." Lena felt supported for the first time in days. "I just want to dance with my husband," she whispered, and Cade gently pulled her back to the party. On the dance floor, surrounded by cheering guests, Lena finally breathed. Cade whispered, "I love you," and she felt peace wash over her. Later, as they prepared for their honeymoon, Lena told Cade she wanted to leave the stress behind. "For 2 weeks, it's just us," she said. Cade nodded. "We move forward." In Maui, they relaxed, swimming, exploring, laughing. But on the 4th day, Lena received a message from a woman named Nora, someone from the bachelorette party. Nora said, "I remembered something important about Lyra." They met for coffee, and Nora revealed that months earlier Lyra had been asking strange questions about Lena and Cade, as if she'd been planning something for a long time. On the drive to the airport, Lena told Cade what Nora had revealed, how Lyra had been gathering information months before the wedding. Cade's jaw tightened. "She wasn't acting on emotion," he said quietly. "She planned this." They agreed to enjoy their honeymoon anyway, but the truth lingered in Lena's mind. Back home, Lena sorted through wedding cards and gifts. At the bottom of the pile was a plain envelope with Lyra's handwriting. Lena opened it and found 6 pages of excuses. Lyra claiming she was protecting her, that cutting the hair was a favor. Then the tone shifted, blaming Lena for embarrassing her. Lena felt sick. "She's twisting everything," she told Cade. Cade showed the letter to Lena's sister. "This is manipulation," the sister said sharply. Lena placed the letter into a folder with the footage and other evidence. She blocked Lyra everywhere. That evening, their lawyer friend Tess said, "Keep records. Don't respond. Document every attempt she makes." Days later, more stories surfaced. A woman named Myra said Lyra had once sabotaged her work promotion with false HR complaints. Another man, Ryvan, said Lyra spread doubts during his early dating days. A third woman revealed Lyra had ruined her wedding vendor plans years ago. Each story matched the same pattern, Lyra pretending to help while secretly causing damage. Lena sat at her kitchen table and sighed. "She's been doing this for years," she whispered to Cade. She realized every time she shared good news with Lyra first, something bad happened soon after. They gathered screenshots, messages, and statements from people willing to speak up. Lena typed out her own detailed account late into the night. Meanwhile, Lena found comfort in her new work friend, Clementine. They ate lunch together, shared jokes, and talked about normal things. One afternoon, Lena opened up and told Clementine the full story. Clementine squeezed her hand and said, "You're not alone. I've had a friend like that too." Lena felt lighter than she had in weeks. Then their wedding photographer, by the name of Abin, stopped by with the final album. But before showing the photos, he pulled Kate aside and said he'd caught a woman trying to sneak into the reception through a side door. "It was her," he said. "I recognized her from the footage." Security escorted Lyra out. Lena felt a cold shiver. But when Abin opened the album, Lena's eyes filled. The photos were beautiful. Her short hair looked elegant. The lighting was golden. Everyone was smiling. It was the proof she needed. "She didn't ruin our day," Lena whispered. Cade squeezed her hand. "She never stood a chance," he said. Friends continued reaching out with more stories. Lena blocked yet another unknown number that she knew belonged to Lyra. Tess drafted a stronger legal warning. Lena felt herself slowly gaining control. She looked at Cade one night and said, "She tried so hard to break us. But we're still here." As the days passed, Lena began hearing even more stories from people she barely knew. One woman from their wider friend circle said Lyra once convinced her that her fiancé was too ambitious and probably hiding something. Another said Lyra always appeared helpful, yet somehow things always went wrong when she was involved. Lena felt a painful clarity settle in her chest. "She's been doing this to everyone," she murmured. Each message added another piece to the picture she'd been too close to see. To keep herself steady, Lena focused on work. It felt good returning to tasks that had nothing to do with Lyra. Her boss gave her a major project, and she threw herself into it. During lunch breaks, she sat with Clementine, who told funny stories that made Lena laugh in ways she hadn't in weeks. Slowly, Lena began to feel like her normal self again. One afternoon, after Lena told Clementine more about the betrayal, Clementine said, "Some people pretend to be your biggest supporters while secretly hoping you fail." The words hit Lena hard because they were true. She realized Lyra had never celebrated her genuinely. She had only smiled on the surface while hiding envy underneath. 3 months after the wedding, Abin delivered a leather-bound album filled with wedding photos. Before opening it, he told Lena something else. Lyra had not only tried to sneak in, she had argued with security, insisting she belonged there. Lena felt her stomach twist, imagining what could have happened if Lyra had gotten inside. But when she finally opened the album, all the fear faded. The photos showed only joy, warm smiles, golden hour light, and Lena looking beautiful despite everything. Lena uploaded her favorite pictures to a private online album shared only with close family and true friends. Within minutes, the comments poured in. Her mother wrote, "You look so full of peace." Her sister commented on nearly every photo, adding inside jokes and memories. Sabina messaged, "Your hair suits you more than you realize." Lena smiled at the screen. The love was real this time. Pure, untainted. Cade decided they needed a break from everything, so he surprised Lena with a weekend trip to a quiet mountain resort. The rooms were warm and cozy, and a soft breeze rolled off the lake outside. When he handed her a small folder labeled Hair Plan, Lena's eyes filled. He'd booked her a consultation with a specialist who knew how to grow out shortcuts gracefully. "I want you to feel in control again," Cade said gently. The stylist walked Lena through a 2-year plan, regular trims, treatments, and products to help her hair return to the length she wanted. She even took photos for growth tracking. When Lena left the salon, she felt something she hadn't felt since the day of the haircut. Hope. "I'm getting it back," she whispered. Cade kissed her forehead. Piece by piece. That night, sitting in a steaming hot tub while the sky turned violet, Lena told Cade the truth. Her friendship with Lyra had never been healthy. "She drained me quietly," she said. "I didn't know it until she did something loud." Cade nodded and wrapped his arm around her shoulders. "Sometimes it takes a storm to show what's been broken for years," he replied. When they returned home, Another letter arrived, only this time it was filled with anger. Lyra accused Lena of destroying her life, claiming she'd been abandoned by friends because of Lena's public humiliation. Lena read the pages without crying this time. She felt only exhaustion. She handed the letter to Cade, who said, "This is escalation." Lena contacted Tess immediately, and Tess drafted a formal cease and desist letter. "Let's end this the right way," Tess told her. After Tess mailed the cease and desist letter, Lena felt the first real wave of relief she'd felt in months. She refreshed the tracking page every few hours, watching the little bar move slowly toward delivery. When it finally showed signed for, she whispered, "Good, at least she can't pretend she didn't receive it." For the next week, her phone stayed quiet. No unknown numbers. No messages pretending to be apologies. No sudden attempts to reach her through mutual friends. Cade noticed the change in her shoulders and said, "You're breathing easier." Lena nodded, though a small voice inside her warned, "Don't trust this silence too quickly." 2 weeks later, that warning proved right. Sabina called early in the morning, sounding breathless. "Lena, please tell me you're sitting." Lena immediately felt her stomach tighten. Sabina explained she overheard 2 women at a cafe saying Lena had attacked Lyra at the bachelorette party, shoved her, screamed at her, and had to be restrained. Lena felt her jaw drop.
What?
That never happened. Sabina cut in, "I know. I told them I was there. I corrected everything." Lena stared at the wall in disbelief. "She's changing the story now," she whispered. "She wants to make me the villain." That afternoon, Lena sent a group message to every woman who attended the bachelorette party. She wrote calmly but directly, explaining the lies she'd heard and asking if they could correct the truth if they overheard similar rumors. Replies poured in fast. Some women were angry on her behalf. Others apologized for what she was going through. 3 volunteered to write signed statements describing exactly what they had witnessed that night. Lena forwarded all the messages to Tess, who responded, "Good work." Lies spread quickly. Evidence spread slower, but it's stronger. Lena spent the entire evening organizing files into label folders on her laptop. By the time her sister arrived with takeout, Lena had typed an 11-page document, a detailed timeline from a haircut incident to the most recent rumor. Her sister scanned parts of it, shaking her head in disbelief. "Lena, this is unbelievable. She did all this while pretending to love you like a sister." Lena felt her throat tighten. "I think I didn't want to see it," she admitted. Her sister squeezed her hand and said, "That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human." For the first time, Lena felt the weight begin to shift off her shoulders. A few weeks later, Lena walked into a cafe near her apartment and noticed a woman watching her nervously. The woman approached and introduced herself as one of Lyra's remaining close friends. I needed to hear your side," she said softly. "Lyra said you had a breakdown and cut your own hair." Lena didn't argue. Instead, she took out her phone and played the salon footage. The woman's eyes widened, her hand covering her mouth. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "She told us the opposite." Then, almost guiltily, she added, "She's been different lately. Angry at everyone. Pushing people away." Lena realized even Lyra's circle was unraveling. Lena walked home through warm afternoon light, feeling strangely peaceful. It no longer hurt to hear about Lyra's behavior. Instead, it clarified everything. For years, Lena had mistaken Lyra's controlling nature for protectiveness, her cutting comments for honesty, her jealousy for concern. Now she understood it had always been manipulation. That evening, sitting beside Cade, she said quietly, "I missed the signs because I cared. And she used that against me." Cade held her hand and answered, "You see it now. That's what matters." A week later, Lena and Cade hosted a small dinner at their apartment for the people who had stood by them through everything. The air was warm with laughter, soft music, and the smell of pasta. Midway through the meal, someone mentioned hearing that Lyra had started therapy. The table fell silent. Lena surprised herself by saying, "If that's true, I genuinely hope she gets help." Her voice carried no bitterness, just calm truth. She didn't want revenge. She wanted peace. And she finally had it. Over the next few months, Lena realized something remarkable. Entire weeks passed without Lyra crossing her mind. She buried herself in work, joined Clementine's book club, tried new recipes with Cade, and slowly built friendships with women who knew nothing about her past drama. During one book club meeting, she laughed so hard at a joke that she caught herself thinking, "I feel like myself again." It wasn't dramatic, it was gentle healing, the kind that grows quietly. Then one evening her sister called and said she saw Lyra at a restaurant downtown. She looked tired, her sister said. Like she was pretending to be fine, but the whole table felt tense. Not happy. Lena listened without anger. Her voice was soft as she replied, "I hope she figures herself out." She hung up and returned to chopping vegetables for dinner, realizing something important. She wasn't afraid of Lyra anymore. She wasn't angry either. She was finally free. A few weeks later, Cade came home grinning from ear to ear, his tie slightly crooked like he'd rushed through the door. "Lena, guess what?" he said, excitement in his voice. He explained that his boss had offered him a senior position with a major raise. Lena threw her arms around him, laughing. "You deserve this so much," she said. To celebrate, they booked a table at a beautiful steakhouse with soft lighting and piano music drifting through the room. For the first time in a long while, Lena felt joy without shadows attached. After dinner, they walked through the parking lot hand in hand, talking about plans for the future. Then someone stepped out from between two cars. Lena froze. It was Lyra. Her hair was messy, and her eyes darted between Lena and Cade like she was searching for the right script. "Lena, please," she said softly. "I need to explain." Lena felt her heartbeat kick up, but she didn't hesitate. She stepped closer, looked Lyra straight in the eyes, and said calmly, "I have nothing to say to you." Then she walked past her without adding another word. In the car, Lena felt a strange mixture of pride and sadness. "I handled it," she whispered, more to herself than to Cade. He nodded, squeezing her hand. "You didn't let her pull you back in." That night, around 11 p.m., Lena's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. She didn't even need to open it to know who it was. Lyra wrote that she had seen Lena at the restaurant and desperately wanted to apologize in person. Lena didn't reply. She took a screenshot and sent it to Tess with the message, "Fourth attempt since the cease and desist." The next morning, Tess emailed her back saying she'd send an updated, stronger legal warning. 2 days later, Lena received a copy of the new letter. It clearly listed every violation Lyra had made since the first warning: calls, messages, attempts to approach Lena in person. Tess highlighted a section near the bottom. "Further contact may result in legal action." Lena stared at those words and finally felt protected. A boundary had been drawn in ink, not just emotion. Weeks passed, and something unexpected happened. Silence. Real silence. No calls, no blocked numbers, no sudden sightings. Lena felt the quiet settle into her life like warm sunlight. She eased back into routines: lunch with Clementine, movie nights with Cade, weekend drives to small cafes. One evening, she realized she hadn't checked her phone anxiously in days. When she told Cade, he smiled and said, "That's how it should feel." 6 months after the wedding, Cade surprised her with a candlelit dinner at home to celebrate their half-anniversary. After eating, they opened the wedding photos on his laptop. Lena expected to feel pain, but instead she felt something soft and unexpected: gratitude. The pictures showed a couple who had survived something heavy and come out stronger. "You look beautiful here," Cade said, pointing to the shot of their first dance. Lena touched the screen. "I look happy," she corrected. And she meant it. Around that time, Lena joined a mentorship program at work. She was paired with a young analyst named Maya, who struggled with a coworker pretending to be a friend but secretly undermining her. Lena listened carefully and shared what she had learned about boundaries, manipulation, and trusting her instincts. Maya's eyes widened as Lena spoke. "I thought I was imagining it," Maya whispered. Lena smiled gently. "You're not. You deserve respect." Helping Maya made Lena realize her pain had transformed into something useful. One afternoon, while drinking coffee with Clementine, her friend looked at her thoughtfully. You've changed, you know, Clementine said. When we first met, you were kind but unsure. Now you speak up. You carry yourself differently. Lena felt a small warmth bloom in her chest. I think losing the wrong friend helped me find myself, she said quietly. Her hair had grown longer by then, brushing her shoulders in a soft, healthy wave. She took a photo one morning and posted it online with a caption about healing. Friends and family flooded the comments with love. Weeks later, as Lena and Cade planned their first anniversary trip back to Hawaii, Sabina sent a message saying Lyra had moved to a different city. Lena read the text slowly and realized she felt nothing sharp. No anger, no fear, not even bitterness. Just closure. Later that weekend, while Lena and her sister prepared for a family gathering, her sister hugged her tightly and said, "You didn't just survive this, you grew from it." That night, curled up on the couch beside Cade, Lena understood one thing clearly. Lyra had tried to break her, but in the end, she had only revealed Lena's true strength. And Lena would never let anyone steal her peace again. Please subscribe, like, and comment.